Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tea. Oh man, or a facsimile of the surface of the sun. We are just getting hammered here with this weather where I live. Okay guys, today we're going to start bedding in some of the foundational mechanics of the golf swing. Okay, basic premise is we want the trail arm connected in this manner here, which necessitates our hand being here at address for every shot, as close as possible to apply. You won't get exactly the same because balance factors. When you get a driver, you'll feel a little bit inhibited because you're very, very close, but you should endeavour to feel at all times that the golf swing position of that trail arm is exactly the same as it is with a wedge, as it is with a driver. It feels the same for me. Okay, the hinging action. So it's basically this hinging action of the trail arm, the forearm coming up like that. It's actually coming this way. That's a bicep curl, that's a tricep curl. You may want to bicep curl it. I actually feel like I'm tricep curling it, where the palm is down. And when I speak about no radial deviation, sometimes I mean that the club, as the hand comes up, the forearm doesn't roll at all. It just comes up like that. So it's essentially that. That's what I'm endeavouring to do. I don't do that in the golf swing yet, but I want to do that going forward. Okay, now the other foundation mechanical member is that once we're at the top, we're firing the pivot at the ball to get it back. We don't want you to fire your arm out to get it back to the ball. If we set up a little closed at address, which I am here, when I'm saying I want you to be closed at impact, I don't want you to be super closed, I just want you to be closed. Whatever it is for you, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, whatever. I don't want you 40 degrees closed. But if we are set up here at address like this in our gunslinger pose, this configuration of the shoulder girdle here is closed. And that's all we have to maintain, whatever that is for an individual. Here. Now when I bicep curl here, I don't want to get the club back to the ball by just using my arms and hands. I want to start firing this quadrant here and this connection here at the ball. That's what I want to do. The same as if we were in the containment device with the strap on. That's what I want to feel. Now in firing this configuration here, this quadrant here, back to the ball, this is really, even though this is connected, this is so active. I actually like to feel that I've got a hinge in my forearm. I want it to be so loose. How you ever get your forearm loose is very, very individualistic in terms of feel. But I want this to feel like a piece of macaroni down here. And I want to be able to fire that wrist hinge as hard as I can. That's what I want to feel, guys. The softball pitch. There it is. The softball pitch, the arm basically runs into the hip here. That's what I want to. I'm already there, so I just want to fire it there. I'm already there. Now, in the firing process, what I found just in the last couple of days, and guys, I'm going to look pretty ordinary today. I really hurt my back in the gym and I'm really, really struggling. I hurt it so bad that I was in the gym late at night and there was no one else there, and I was laying beside the machine for 2 hours before people came in because I couldn't move. It's lower back, which injury I've had for a long time. just overextended myself on an exercise and that happened about 3 days ago, so I'm really struggling. So if I look a bit scratchy today, I am. So as we're firing this pivot, guys, here, we want to really get this going. The fingers, remember, we're going to throw the hand away from the wrist joint. Whoa, whoa, and away from the forearm. If you could feel you want to throw your hand off your forearm, that's a good feel. That's a good feel. Now in conjunction with that, when we fire this pivot here, we want to feel, guys, that we've got a bit of secondary tilt. Now I never advocate that normally, but you actually want to feel that because the softball pitcher actually has that in his action. And if you look at Lee Como's got a bit of secondary axis tilt because he spirals up. So if we're going to fire that out there, the knock-on and the byproduct of that is that as we fire that pivot out there, this hip here is going this way. This leg is actually moving this way. We're getting this look about us. And this upper axis position here is actually tilting a bit this way because this leg is doing this, it's pushing us. We don't want to slide, guys. We don't want to fire this in there and slide forward at all. We want to fire that quadrant, but we want to be tilting a little bit like the pitcher does. She does that. That's what she does. They don't do that. They don't move forward. And the reason I don't want you to go laterally is that you'll get disconnection. If you stay here, it's easy to keep this trail arm back in this position. Really easy to do that. But as soon as I move laterally, this wants to escape. Now guys, we never ever want any travel of this trail arm. And that trail hand, we don't want that to travel here. Don't want that. So once we've bicep curled it and we're firing that pivot out there, we're firing that out, and this is coming. There's a lot of pressure in that lead foot, and it's firing into the ground. It's firing the pressure up this lead leg into the lead hip, and it's actually firing that left hip behind us, so that we've got a little bit of this tilt. And the more we can get that type of tilt and get that type of shoulder formation, that trail shoulder formation, the better chance we've got of maintaining this connection here. And remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's not an upper connection, it's a lower connection. It's not a Ledbetter belt type thing, it's a lower connection. It's a hip connection here. It's not an upper connection, it's a lower connection. And by having that elbow there and that humerus back on the shirt line, the shirt seam here, the hands obviously come closer to us here. And elementary, dear Watson, the only way, because the hand is here, which I mentioned in some of the other videos, like conventionally we're here, that's our spacing, but when we go here, look, we're this far away from the ball. So we just got to get closer to it. And it's going to feel unnerving to be that close to the ball initially. But the payoff is significant, and particularly when you're going to pitch the ball, you'll just knock the flag out. But everything will go straight because you're just closer to it, guys. So the arc is not under as much pressure to maintain itself through the positive load of the shaft. See, that's a positive load. Now the further I get that out there, the more load there is. The more I get it in here, the more I take that load off it. And I basically balance that load. Now that's a technical, mechanical engineering process there. But that's what happens. Out here, there's a lot of load on that. Yeah? In here, there's not much load. And of course, this arc is closer to us, so it's easier to control and maintain. And what we want to do, guys, in this golf swing, really, is we want to minimize this channel here. The size of it. We want to make it very, very small and compact. Only this wide. And why would we want to do that? Because, guys, if the club is in that channel and you've got a biomechanical body mechanism that gives you that width of channel, then you've minimized the opportunity for the club to run off in the other channel, which is this big. That slot is really big. This is a very, very small slot. So we're calling this the accuracy channel. And by here, guys, we really make that channel really small. And I said to you before, when the club is only going to here, or there, depending on your flexibility, and the hands are only this high, there's not much chance that the club can do a lot. But when it's up here, it can go here, it can go here. But here, because it's still in front of the body here, guys, and it's still controlled by this eternal triangle here. This structure here. And that's a controlling triangle and a controlling structure. So they're really important facets. And I forget some things. I had some things, I should write them down. I was going to mention a few other things, but we'll do them as we go along. Now, one of the things that will help you dramatically with any golf swing, and I'm certainly not the first guy to come up with this, Hogan did. Remember that famous piece of film of Hogan at the clinic and on his friend's in back garden in Florida, doing the slow motion swing where Hogan did this? He went through everything. He went through the waggle slow motion, went through the putting of the feet into position slow motion, even the look, the putting down of the club here, the backswing was slow motion. And that's what Hogan did. Now Hogan did that for a reason. He said because you can feel the motion and the mechanics of what you're trying to do in a golf swing when you go at that speed. Now it's very, very difficult to feel a process at normal swing speed. So I'm not saying that we need to slow the golf swing down to that really slow tempo, but what I was doing the other day before I hurt my back was I was just actually trying to feel, for me, a slow motion action. That's what I was trying to feel. And I would suggest to you guys, if you do this yourself, and you'll probably miss-hit the ball initially, but what it will do is it will really give you the feeling of what the connection is supposed to be in the golf swing. So if we set it up here, guys, and then we do our waggle, we even do our waggle slowly, and we just go here, and then we're going to fire the quadrant here. Now we can, as we're firing here, I can feel this here moving backwards here. Now I've still got the connection here. I've still got it. I won't have that much in the golf swing because there's dynamic forces involved in throw out. So, and the throw out will pull the arms and hands off the body. But the point I made before, guys, is what we need to do is drill in an extreme manner those feelings and those amounts so that in the golf swing we get enough of it to maintain the type of connection that we need. We won't get that amazing amount that we have there at address because of the throw out. Now the other thing that you need to do when you do the slow motion one, and I didn't do it there, what I want you to feel, guys, in a couple of drills is that you've got as much connection here on the lead side as you have on the trail side here. And as we fire through, we've got this connection here at the front, so we get the hook back. And someone asked about the hook back and said, well, what's the point of the hook back? And I think it was Freddie. Okay, Freddie, and good question. He said, or his comment was, what's the point of the hook back? The ball's already gone. Well, all it is an insurance policy to sort of guarantee that if you've got this after the ball, that you've got plenty of it through the ball. Now that's extreme. As a feeling, see how that's here? Now that is extreme, but it gives me a nice feeling on this trail side. And I haven't had a hit, and that just felt like someone stabbing me in my lower back. If there's any lower back medicos out there, you'll know what I'm going through, guys. I heard it in a race car accident years ago. Really big end for under about 6, and you know the tumbling forces you get on your back, it concertinas everything. And it comes back and bites me sometimes, but I overload myself in the gym. So guys, here. So we're just going to do a little slow-mo here. We're going to go here, and then we're going to push that there, and we're going to try and keep as much connection on this side as we can for a little bit of hook back, but we want this secondary axis tilt back this way. So these swings will look pretty ordinary today, guys, because I'm struggling from a body point of view. But we're just going to do it nice and slow. Well, they say beware the wounded tiger. And that was just perfectly struck. Not a lot of zip on it, but right out of the centre of the golf club. I'll try and do it even slower. Slower again. Oh, it's perfect, guys. I mean, that is perfect. A little bit of hook back over here. They're only little half, 3/4 shots because it's outside my normal tempo, so it's a little difficult to feel as a timing mechanism. I'll make the push really significant. Now guys, what was interesting there is I felt I had a bit of this back, which gives me a squat and a shove. You know, we talked about the shove the other day. That actually gives me this here, so I can actually shove the arms away from me. All right. Guys, look at this. That is really a good drill. That feels fantastic. You could actually play with that on the golf course. You could play with that. That's about 3/4 normal distance I hit a 6-iron. That's a little half swing. Just really feels nice. That's how we feel it. That's how we get to feel it. Or I'll just move it up to a 3/4 swing. It's killed. Tiny little golf swing. Tiny little swing. Lots of contact. And this is a absolute windfall for my back. Because not putting a lot of strain on it. There's not a lot of wind up in the golf swing. Oh guys, that's perfect. You've got to see that to believe it. And guys, there's lots of this. The macaroni forearm, the macaroni wrist, and the spaghetti fingers. That's what we want to feel. Oh, that's no good. Oh, JH, that's no good. Oh, that is no good. It's this, guys. we just take it back with no club. That's what I want to feel. With this much connection. Oh, don't do that. Don't drop the club, JH. Keep it in your hand. I'm glad it's such a hot day today. If it was cold today, I couldn't hit balls. All right, we'll see if we can hit a full shot. I've been not wanting to because of my injury, but we'll see if it's a nice little slow motion one. That'll do old JH. Still about a 3/4 shot, but good enough to play with. And certainly good enough to drill in, guys. Again, the wrist hinge, you know, when I do this in the practice swing, which guys are calling the waggle, well, it's the preset for me. That's where I want to be down the track. I want to actually just fold my arm up here and then just fire that whole containment here out there. I still get a little bit of sideways extension, but I'll get rid of that. But slowing it down helps me. That's as good as old JH can hit it. I can't hit it better than that. That's a beautiful shot. That's exquisite. The hits are just dead flush centre. It's just amazing. And there's hardly any turn. In a lot of ways, I can understand the feeling that Lee Como has with C-motion, where he says, I don't turn. He does turn, but he doesn't feel like he turns. I don't feel like I turn at all. I don't turn much, but I don't feel like I turn at all. I feel like I just picked the golf club up. Slow. That's a golf swing. That is Davinci code. That's it. It's this, guys. This fires out there. These fire like that. And we get a little secondary tilt of the spine. I mean, I'm so happy today that I could actually hit shots. And again, I guess what this highlights is that it takes a lot of pressure off the spine, the wind-up. I couldn't do a conventional swing today. Just couldn't, because my spine would just explode. That just feels beautiful. I'll just hit one this way, and you can see the connection. Oh, guys, there's a tree right behind the camera. It's that wide. Probably 5 inches wide. I aimed straight at it, and I hit it straight in the middle. I thought, no, if I aim at a 5-inch wide tree, I can't hit it. I'll flush that. Absolutely flushed it dead centre. I aimed at it. It's 5 inches wide, maybe 6 inches. I aimed at it. I hit it dead centre. You probably heard it. It's amazing. I'm not saying that you're going to hit every shot that accurate, but I actually aimed at that. Boy Scouts, across my heart, I really did. And I just absolutely nutted it. Yep. That's what we want, guys. I'll hit one with a little bit of hook back, front on. It's a little daunting aiming at the camera. It's a couple of $1,000 camera there, and I'm aiming basically straight at it. I'll aim just a little bit to the left of it, but I'll try and get a bit of hook back on this. There's the hook back, guys. Gee, that's a strong shot. Guys, this is the golf swing. This is the golf swing. Okay guys, well that'll do us for this one. If I've got time, I'll hit a couple of shots downrange and give you a look at a slightly different aspect, and I'll just maybe remember a couple of the things I was going to talk about today.